You absolute bastard. You absolute bastard.
Just chill out. But mind the foul language within the first 7 seconds. Anyway.
Then don't replace me with a bloody cartoon bear.
I didn't replace you. You just... Well, you were replaced the other day. You were replaced on Saturday because you wouldn't come on the show.
Right.
So, you were then replaced with the bear.
I mean, there's a difference between wouldn't and couldn't because I was with my children.
Oh,
but,
yeah, I was with my children. I'm such a fucking... I'm father of the year.
Well. Happy Monday, everybody.
Did you zoom in?
Good afternoon.
You're awfully
good evening.
close.
Johnny, the cartoon bear may well be pretty cute, but this is what it's got to contend with, okay?
The cartoon bear is pretty cute, mate. In fact, I think the cartoon bear gets more likes than both of us put together.
I think you could be right. Yeah, I do. I think you could well be right.
That's true.
So good evening to the people watching live. I can see a bunch of you in the chat there. Julie, Beats and Tape, Shalini, Johnny, Teresa.
Teresa.
Oh, Teresa.
She's coming back to Blighty soon.
Oh, the poor woman.
I know.
The
But at least she's coming up north. She'll be all right.
Yeah, but I mean, you're. I was going to say you're up north, aren't you? But no, you're.
No, I'm not. I'm north of the wall. There's a fucking big difference between up north and north of the wall.
Do you know what? Amy.
Yes.
Amy said to me earlier on. She said to me, "I'm going to send some stuff down. Shall I send the stuff to John for you? Do you live close?" And I said to her, "Love, I know you're in Kentucky, but we live in 2 separate countries." You know?
Do you live close? Yeah, but as close as fucking Florida is to you, Amy. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, hello, Emma. That's a name that we've been seeing a couple of times. That's new. It's always good to see new people in the chat. I like that.
It is. Make sure you're
no relation of Cully, I hope.
All that good stuff. But yeah, welcome. I hope everybody is well. Did you see the Dublin airport thing? Is that in your list?
Dublin Airport? No, it's not.
So, yesterday, an African man is outside the departures, I believe it's the departures lounge of Dublin Airport, and just randomly impales a man 7 times whilst he's standing there having a smoke.
Nice. Without even much as a by your leave, you bounder.
No, I just don't understand how it's not being labelled the T.
Well,
but...
it's mental illness, isn't it?
When I say impales, I mean the YouTube censorship algorithms, Johnny, don't like me saying the other thing. So, takes out a large metallic object and does that a few times. Yeah.
Pricked.
We have to be very careful here, what you say.
Do you? Anyway, right, so enough of this nonsense. Shall we crack on?
Yeah, I suppose so. Do you want to introduce it and say hello to the wonderful people one more time and give them a video?
It's always decent to introduce the show, isn't it? And then when you come back on, it'll be you instead of the fucking bear, won't it?
I doubt it. I think you'll probably purposely put the bear back on just to troll me.
Yeah,
I've just spoiled your bit, haven't I?
You have such a low opinion of me. I would never do that. So with that, I'd like to welcome everyone to this episode 253 of Chasing Dissent Live with me, John, and with Ben, who's a big scaredy cat when it comes to storms.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
There you go.
I love storms, you bloody liar.
Oh, you big pussy then. You big pussy. Because I said, did you get any footage? Oh, no, I was too frightened to go out. I was too frightened to go out. It was like right on top of me. I was scared, Mummy, Daddy. Help me. That was this morning's meeting.
This morning's meeting was pretty productive, I think.
I think so, yeah.
I think we've made some good plans for the month of October, haven't we, John? That's all I'm going to say.
Yes, we have.
Made some good plans for the month of October.
Well, you'll get the full version of the song in the outro, Emma, if you hang around long enough.
Yeah, you
Because
do.
the outro is extended and gives you the full version. Where's Adam? There's another question one has to ask. Where indeed is Adam? He comes, he pops up, he disappears, he pops up, he disappears. He is like that elusive pimpernel indeed.
It's the same as in the work chat. He'll just pop up with some random, completely out of context story that we don't really want. Why are you sharing this with us? And then he'll just disappear for hours on end. No answer. But anyway, John.
Well, yeah. Yes, my darling.
What are you aiming at?
Oh, because I bumped my keyboard and set the what do you call it? You know how you stream, you know how you can see it streaming in the studio window. I bumped the keyboard and set it back about half an hour.
Right, well.
Right.
Let's do it. Get me started.
Right.
Tick all the bits.
I'll tell you where I want to start. I want to start in southern Italy.
Yeah.
They have a good Mediterranean diet. Love the olive oil and the tomatoes.
You're setting the scene.
And the
wonderfully.
cured meats. And pasta. And moderate quantities, with lovely seafood. But anyway, apart from that, let's washed down with a lovely Chianti or some other Italian fine wine. Right? How about Lampedusa? Right? Because we're getting these stories on Tinternet about it was all arranged by Russia and the Wagner Group, and I think that's bollocks. I'm just going to put it right out there. I think it's complete and utter bollocks.
Let's
so what do you
expand
think?
On the context. Well, let's expand on the context first for people who are listening who might not understand or know. Lampedusa.
You treat our audience like idiots. But anyway, carry on.
is an area in southern Italy, as you say, that has in recent days been flooded with more migrants in the thousands than there are in population. So I believe there's a population of 6,000 or 7,000, and there's been about 10,000 migrants arrive.
Yeah, something like that.
And yes, we are seeing things on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, with people saying that Wagner have done this, have arranged all of this as some kind of warfare. Now, I need a little bit more than that. I really do, because I couldn't report this.
Well, some guy said, my intelligence sources informed me that Wagner's behind us. And my first question then is, and Teresa's right, it's a great way of destabilising the country, but
it is.
What was Russia's beef with Italy? Okay, so the question is, has Russia been doing it forever? Because this has happened before in Lampedusa. Similar thing has happened before, right?
Well, it's a good question, and similar things have happened in Greece as well.
Yeah,
and on Greek islands.
Yeah, but it happens a lot on these countries that are very, very close to Africa, and all it needs is one big ship to actually make it over, and suddenly you've got a cracking amount of people there. You know, so it's not that hard to think about. I mean, you get a freighter pulls in. How many? I don't know what kind of term to use. How many human people can it carry?
A fair few thousand, I would say.
Well, yeah, a fair few thousand. Yeah, so
yeah,
I think I don't think it's like and people go and they're not refugees, they're all fighting age men. Well, hold on a minute. They're all fighting age men everywhere. It doesn't matter where they're coming abroad. You're very, very rarely getting women and children coming. So,
well, exactly. That's you can press the button. Just press the button.
That's true.
I've pressed the button.
There you go. That is true. For the most part, they are fighting age men arriving on our shores here in the United Kingdom. They are fighting age men arriving in places like Germany, in places like
France,
Sweden, France, all of
Everywhere.
these places,
Scotland.
and I still submit that you can't call these people refugees unless they can determine
They're not refugees.
Well, they need to be able to determine that they are refugees.
They're not refugees. They're economic migrants.
If you're showing up in your Yeezys and throwing your passport in the sea, I'm a bit dubious.
And remember what it costs to get on a dinghy or one of these ships or whatever. You know, it's not an inconsequential cost. You got to put up the readies, and you got to put them up front, probably in cash or Bitcoin.
Well, yeah.
Bitcoin's going to come back and bite you in the ass.
So Vaughan says, in their own countries, they're being told on TV ads that Europe is giving out money in houses, which ain't far off the truth. Well,
the UK is, yeah. The rest of
the UK is. Well, four-star hotels.
Sweden used to, but Sweden's supposed to have closed its borders to economic migrants.
Well, this is the thing. I think you can't call somebody a refugee, because this is one of the arguments we hear often on Twitter, is that these people are all refugees. They're refugees. You can't call somebody a refugee unless they can prove their refugee status. Unless they can prove to us they're being persecuted, I can't call them a refugee.
Yeah, they should just be sent back. I mean, and you're right. They're Uber riders, and they'll be. You see these guys on electric. Where do they get the money for the electric bike? Because they're always delivering food. You know, Uber Eats and all that stuff, yeah. Where did they get the money for the electric bike from? I bet they never get stopped and taken off and crushed. Because he's black.
Everybody, let's have about 6 seconds silence for Vaughan's electric bike, shall we?
Okay, that's enough.
Okay, yeah.
Right, shall we move on? Shall we move on to your favourite person in the wide, wide world?
I have a lot of favourite people.
Oh no, that says your favourite person. You love her. You love her, don't you?
Who's a her?
Well, Michael John.
Come on, talk to me, John. Talk to me.
God, nearly died. Right, Susan? No. Sarah? Sergeant Sarah? You had a run-in with Sergeant John. Sarah today, didn't you?
Hello there, John.
Did you have a run-in with Sergeant Sarah today? What did she say?
Oh, Sergeant Sarah is a bloody... I can't believe it. I can't believe anybody takes this dude seriously. How can anybody take this dude seriously?
Well, first of all, it's like, oh, come on, Cellini, keep up. Sarah Ashton Krillo, the Sergeant Sarah from the Ukraine Armed Forces, who's no longer a traitor to the United States, apparently, because I think she's rescinded her citizenship. I don't think. But anyway, so... It's just it's propaganda in its most base form, isn't it? It's Lord Haw-Haw. It's Tokyo Rose.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, and it's so bad.
Oh my God! Somebody's actually responded to me. Would you like to know what they said?
Oh, go on.
Okay. So Twitter's being weird for me at the minute. Give me a sec. So Ashton Cirillo tweets. Senator J.D. Vance, with full respect, I have never threatened violence against anyone in any video. Yes, you
liar. You have.
I will, however, state again that every war criminal propagandist will be hunted down and brought to justice.
That's not what you said.
Russian invaders engage in killing extrajudicial killings, not the Ukrainian Defense Forces. So I simply responded, oh, so you decide who is and who is not a journalist, because this is how they're meting out this so-called judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So you can decide who is allowed free speech. And by free speech, I mean completely controlled speech that you approve of. Otherwise, it is just propaganda. Yeah, you aren't the good guy. There clearly is not a good guy.
When did I show the before and after pic? Was it the other day?
Anyway.
I might still have it in my load, if you pardon the expression.
I would like to
Carry on.
highlight a response here from David Boba. David Boba says to me, there are international criminal courts for war crimes, and yes, they hunt down people participating in genocide even years later, like the Nazis. There are clearly good guys, hint, not the invaders who are and murder women and children and level whole cities of civilians.
It's not. It's not.
I'm not even gonna dignify that with a written response.
There's no point in going back to these people. They've lost it. Hold on. Oh, sorry. No, it wasn't in there. Well, I've lost you. Right. It's see, when you're not here, I have a perfect show, don't I, people? I really do. I don't have any problems. In fact, I said this the other night. I said, I think the technical issue in our show is Ben.
Yeah, but the problem that you do have is without me, you don't have the sex appeal. It's gone.
Oh, no, I do, because I've got Chaz now.
You've got the bear. You've got the bloody bear.
And the bear, there'll be a story about bears later. Anyway.
Okay. But yeah, I'm not even going to dignify that with a written response.
Sorry,
because anyone who regularly watches this show will know that my view is that there is no good guy in the Russia-Ukraine thing. I don't believe that Russia are a virtuous country and their leadership are virtuous people, and I don't believe Ukraine are a virtuous country or their leadership are virtuous people. And this propagandist, and that is what I am going to call old Mikey.
Oh, there's no dispute there. Of course that's what they are.
This propagandist, I mean, J.D. Vance has basically been asking for the last few days if Ashton Cirillo is an American government plant, essentially.
No. A plant, maybe. An American government plant, no.
Is he working in any capacity for the US government?
He hasn't got the capacity to string two words together without accusing someone of being an orc.
I mean, the dude's got about 3 lines, hasn't he? The teeth will gnash. Is one of them.
No,
just keep saying it over and over again. Gnashing teeth.
It's terrible. Yes, and you are right, Johnny, in the chat. You are right. The former people from Germany were employed mainly by the USA and the Soviet Union in Operation Paperclip.
No, you know, but the point I'm making here is that I can't believe, because Ashton Cirillo also made a video saying that he loves free speech, loves the First Amendment, loves all of this. It's like, no, you don't.
Well, how can you love that and then be in Ukraine as it is just now? How can you?
Well, my problem and my contention is that free speech and journalism is not defined by you. And I'll use your legal name or whatever, Sarah Ashton Cirillo. Just because you might not like the things that other journalists are saying does not mean they are no longer journalists, does not mean that you can then make veiled or direct threats against them. Because that is what you are doing. You are saying these people are not journalists because you don't like what they're saying. And then you're saying that makes them fair game to be, quote, hunted down. And I don't believe that's the case. Do you know what? Journalists lie all of the time. Mainstream media journalists lie all of the time.
You've completely spoiled my illusions. How can I live? How can I carry on? Anyway, shall we move on?
I suppose so. Just, Mikey, calm down. Come on, man. Calm down.
So the the ex-head of the Kherson region that was relieved by Zelensky a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago has killed himself.
Oh.
Which is
Has he now?
A bit abrupt. I mean, I've heard of rats leaving the sinking ship, but the chap actually committed suicide, which is
I'm pretty shocked they haven't. They didn't
Shockerini.
suggest that the. I'm pretty shocked they didn't suggest that the young man who was found in the canal or the lake, face down with his arms tied behind his back, had something to do with it himself.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely blame someone else, but.
Yeah. So, and speaking of people who are meant to be in death's door, Kadirov's looking a bit. He's looking a bit okay, considering he's wandering about filming himself and doing selfies. Did you see that? Did you see his video? He's meant to be in death's door in a hospital, right? In a coma or something. And he's wandering down a road saying, reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated in some kind of Georgian or Russian language or whatever, I presume.
Has he woke up from a coma with a George Galloway voice?
No, he doesn't have a George Galloway voice.
Hello there, John. It's me, George Galloway.
Yeah. Well, we were actually talking about the death list the other day, weren't we?
We were talking about the death list.
Adam was supposed to go and see if we were on it.
Yeah, he was. Did you go and check to see if we were on the death list yet, Adam?
He doesn't care. He just knows we're on the UK one.
Yeah. As our handler, he's like, I've got these boys. I've got them.
I've got him under my thumb. He's letting us go though. He seems he's not keeping tabs on us like he used to.
No, he's not. He's not. So his handlers, Adam's handlers, he's slacking. He is really slacking at the moment.
So for a country that seems to be winning, okay, allegedly,
right,
and doesn't have any shortage of men available to go and fight on the front lines and defend democracy for us. Remember, they're doing it for us. That's why we're paying. Why have they come out with a special set of body armour for pregnant women? So as they can fight without getting their baby shot. I mean, this is just madness. They were in Ukraine showing off the pregnant women body armour.
What?
For those on the podcast, Ben is speechless.
What?
Yeah. Did you not see it?
Jesus.
No, it wasn't Jesus.
I did not.
Some Ukrainian guy.
I did not say. What?
Yeah. Unbelievably, yeah.
I shouldn't laugh. I
No,
shouldn't laugh,
you shouldn't.
but come on.
You shouldn't laugh.
Do you know, I saw a claim, actually. We'll go back to
And I mean, the model was in full military gear as if she was ready to go and fight in the front line, you know, pregnant and all.
So I saw a claim today made by Ashton Cirillo, which I double took at, and I had to just completely disregard it and move on, because Ashton Cirillo is claiming that they have killed half of Russia's standing army. Half of all of Russia's army.
Well, they haven't.
Half of Russia's army hasn't even been called up yet, has it?
No, it hasn't. Oh, dear, oh dear.
Are you looking for a picture of the pregnant woman body?
Oh, no, I've found it, I think.
Are you going to show us?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Just asking.
Hey, give me a... What? I hate this piece of crap.
Johnny, those were my thoughts as well.
What's
and that's
that?
why I double took it, and I went, nope, and just moved on.
Yeah.
But yeah, their claim, Ashton Cirillo is claiming that they have killed half of Russia's standing army. I honestly don't think that's true. But, prove me wrong if I'm wrong.
I tell you what, I'm just going to... How am I going to do this? Because it's not a bloody picture.
I guess just capture the screen.
Yeah, but it's not... They didn't put a link in. Oh, well, I could capture the screen, but it's in Telegram. Right,
Adam's
okay.
put a link in.
Sorry, it's all right. I've got it. I can put it up.
Go on, let's see it.
Yeah, okay. I'll just share the...
Yeah, let's do that. Come on, we can do this on the fly. We're seasoned pros at this now, John.
Yeah, I know. I don't like to show off too much. I like to kind of keep the mystique, so as it looks like we're actually having to work hard behind the scenes to actually do things.
Come on. It's very hard to imagine anything these guys claim is true. It's almost beyond fantasy. Well, exactly right, but that goes for both sides, right, Johnny? Because I like to talk about it a lot, but the fog of war is the fog of war. And the fog of war says that we have absolutely no clue what's going on, because we don't. Because it's not in either side's best interest to let us know what is going on.
There you go. Right, you ready?
Hello everyone, have a little look at this. This is the newly Ukrainian armour, specifically designed for pregnant women to go into the field with. Have you seen anything?
There you go. I think that'll
what
do
are we
us.
doing? What on earth are we doing? There's people actually there taking that on and giving that like it's some sort of pride badge.
Hold on, where the hell's it gone?
My mind is blown by this. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Tech issues, people. Tech issues.
Oh, it's not tech issues. I was just looking for the button. I didn't have it prepared. If I'd prepared it, it would have been seamlessly and buttery smooth. But no, I'm lazy these days.
It's part of the course, John. Part of the course, of course. You know?
We're delivering a half-assed product because nobody pays us.
Well, exactly. And if you'd like to pay us, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent, or hitting the join button right here on YouTube. And yes, of course, you get extra benefits. But if you can't afford to do any of that, just a little like would be good right now. Subscribe if you haven't already, and a share. That would be
And remember,
excellent.
Remember, if you do donate on Ko-fi during the show, a siren will sound and your lovely words will be read out. Subject
by a robot.
Subject to the censorship list, because there's a lot of words you can't use, because we're not. While we may look stupid, we actually do think about these things.
We are not text-to-speech twitchers right now.
Yeah.
We are not. I've seen enough of them get attacked in the middle of nowhere because their text-to-speech goes off and it starts saying some choice things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, right, let's go on. Hamza said he had an army of activists that was going to help the SNP in their campaign to be re-elected. And it turns out that he has so many activists, he's had to pay a company to go and deliver his leaflets. And then they had a meeting in George Square yesterday, and bloody hell, I'm telling you, there was lucky if there was 15 people there.
So he's back then. He's back from New York, is he?
No, he's going. I think he's going this week.
Sadiq's gone, isn't he? Sadiq's gone to New York as well for the whole.
You know who else is going?
Who else is going?
Well, you know who else has gone?
Well, who else has gone?
The president of the Congo. He went.
Right.
So they had a military coup when he left.
Right. I'm aware.
So they've taken over the Congo, which, as Adam pointed out, is going to pretty much screw your lithium supplies, unless, they'll probably go up. So your electric cars are going to go up.
Well, yeah.
So much for Tesla's Giga battery coming next year.
Well, they might have already imported what they need.
I doubt it. The rate they're turning out,
I doubt it.
Crap.
Look, I doubt it as well. But yeah, your lithium supplies are going to be, for lack of a better word, fucked.
Do you know who else is going to New York apart from Hamza and all that?
Who else is going to?
The Prince of Peg.
William.
Yeah.
William is off to New York.
Yeah, William's you know why he's going to New York? You know who he's going to meet?
His brother?
No, he's going to meet Mr. Gates. Mr. Bill Gates, formerly head of Microsoft.
So William's meeting William?
Mm-hmm. William meets William. And you know what they're going to talk about? Oh, they're going to talk about making youth re-education camps, so as they can actually so as they can re-educate the youth to get them away from people like us, I think, that are telling them to think for themselves and make up their own mind. They don't really want you. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in a society like this. You really don't want people making up their own mind. You just want them following the narrative. So him, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to talk about, they are making youth re-education camps that kids can go along to and be re-educated into the one true path. It sounds like there's a bit of that Israeli guy, that Hawari, Russell Brand's friend, you know who I mean, the one he was kissing.
Listen, I need to spell this out to you.
Why are you a Russian? What have you done?
Because I need to sound authoritative when I speak. No, anyway, anybody who tells you that they are the single source of truth, or that their way of thinking is the only way of thinking, are dangerous. They are, they don't want your best interests. They have only their own best interests at heart, and it means they have some kind of plan for you that involves you staying in your place and elevating theirs. Mm-hmm. You really shouldn't be listening to these people. Now, I'm not saying you should be listening to us. In fact, quite the contrary. I keep telling people don't believe a word we say. That's not the point of all of this. The point of all of this is for us to impart on you a life lesson. And that life lesson is that you need to go out, look at each individual issue individually, take it as it comes, look at all the nuances, look at sources from both sides of an argument, not just mainstream sources, independent sources as well. Come to your own conclusions. And if that conclusion differs from ours, you're probably wrong, but still, you're entitled to be.
You're entitled to be wrong.
Yeah.
You're perfectly entitled to be wrong. You will be wrong, but you're perfectly entitled to be wrong. And we'll support you in your endeavour to be wrong.
Yes.
If you support us.
But
right.
no,
right.
Jokes aside, this is dangerous stuff. It's really dangerous stuff.
Yeah. Are we going to address the elephant? Oh, that's Chaz. That's not the elephant. Right, let's address it. Okay. Are you ready for it?
Right. Go on then.
Go on then. So, Rusty Rockets.
Russell Brand. Had a television documentary made about him on Sunday that was aired to the public. Saturday. And an article in a newspaper, which I think is a bit light on evidence, but what do you think, Ben? Well, I think it's completely devoid of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a single shred of evidence in it at all. However, nuance. Boys and girls, nuance.
Nuance, here he goes.
Well,
right, carry on.
First of all, there has been no criminal investigation. There hasn't.
No,
and we must.
We don't actually know if there's been a criminal report yet either.
I believe there has been now.
Right.
There was some breaking news this afternoon that someone had made a criminal report.
Okay.
But still, even if there is criminal or are criminal proceedings, the presumption of innocence is the presumption of innocence. We should presume, unless they're on video, doing something and we can all see it, we should presume that he's probably innocent. Now, I've seen people, it's not gone to the police. Why didn't these women go to the police? Now, there are a myriad of reasons that women won't go to the police, but this is very suspicious. And the reason I say this doesn't rub me the right way is because these women didn't come forward of their own volition. Oh, no. These journalists went looking for people. They sought these people out. They were looking for people to say bad things about Russell Brand. They also have sought out women and spoken to women, many women, who say, yeah, he was a bit of an arsehole. He was a bit, promiscuous, whatever, but he wasn't anything like that. They didn't include any of those women. That concerns me concerns me greatly. They provided no balance whatsoever. And in fact, one of his ex-girlfriends tweeted just in the last 24 hours saying, Dispatches and the Sunday Times were knocking my parents' door down for months because I once dated Russell Brand. And it sounds like they really were out to nail him.
Yeah.
They also mention repeatedly in the article, and it was spoken about in the dispatches, but mention the fact that he is now an influencer with millions of followers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Almost as if this is some kind of motive. In fact, one of the quotes in the article was, I felt like I needed to say something because he's now an influencer on YouTube. This stuff doesn't sit right with me. Also, I think a man has a right to face his accusers. A woman has a right to face their accusers as well. And keeping these very explicit, very descriptive allegations may broadcast to the nation, nay, the world, anonymous, with actresses in silhouette. You've got to be sure that what you are broadcasting is right.
And won't it prejudice the case if there's ever a case brought?
I assume so.
Yeah.
Johnny says there's a bunch of basic logical fallacies at play. The police don't actually do anything, and women are often scared about going to the police, but it's probably all based on semi-lies. And you know what? This is where the nuance lies, right? Okay, because I'm going to put myself in those women's shoes for a minute, because I've been in those women's shoes. And I've been to the police about the woman who did things to me.
I'm going to make it.
And they did fuck all.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay. That's not always the case, right? I think the problem is if someone comes and reports a crime to you years after the fact, it's very difficult to gather any kind of evidence, right? So if someone comes to you fresh from the act, there's a lot of evidence to be gathered, right? And then the question can be put to a court. But if you can't gather enough evidence to say that this did or didn't happen, I mean, if there's going to be, there's usually some kind of bruising one way or the other, right? There's usually some kind of DNA material, you know? So if you can't get that and they turn up, 10 years later after having thought about this for 10 years or 15 years, and it's just been going through their mind, and you know what humans do? They misremember perfectly. They're brilliant at misremembering. So they brainwash themselves.
Context.
Sorry?
Absolutely. Let's add complete context, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of these women claims that at the time she went to a hospital, she had the rape kit done, her underwear was frozen. She says at the time all of this happened. And it's all on file, but she decided not to pursue charges. Now, if that is the case, then I think that is at least something. Okay? I think that is at least something.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is, yeah. But why did she decide not to? See, the whole thing's really tricky these days, because 15 years ago, people didn't think the way they do now. What happens is people now put today's thinking on acts that happened 15, 20 years ago. And you think that's horrible, right? And I'm not saying that he did or didn't do anything, right? But what I'm saying is people look at things completely differently now than they did in those days. And, rape cases are very poorly pursued and convicted.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
know.
Then you get the ones where guys are dragged through the mud for weeks, months, years, and you find that it's all been a concoction. So it doesn't help either side. I think these type of cases actually should be held completely in private until you have a result.
You know what?
There shouldn't be someone shouldn't be accused of something like that in public, because effectively it ruins your career,
Well, yeah,
just to be accused, even to be acquitted or found not guilty or whatever, even to be found not guilty, you've still got your career in tatters, and that's not fair. And if you did do it, and why should the woman why should she have to be public and everybody say, oh, he did that, or you know what I mean? I really don't think there's anything to be gained from airing this kind of dirty washing in public.
Well, I don't, and I think for the Times and for Dispatches, unless they can prove, and it's also being alleged that the text message exchange that was shown up as the very out of context text message exchange that was shown up as evidence, it's now being alleged that was doctored, first of all.
Well, see, this is a problem, because what's the media doing putting this out there as evidence? Because that's not their job. They shouldn't even be reporting on this until after there's been a case.
Well,
because I think they've screwed any chance of him getting prosecuted. Because how can you pick a jury that's not going to have some kind of preconception one way or the other now?
Well, you're correct, but first of all, I've seen a lot of fierce division and tribalism over this, and it's worrying me. It's worrying me greatly, because first of all, I'm gonna say this to pretty much everybody on Twitter that's arguing about this profusely. Most of you, 99.99% of you, you've never met Russell Brand. You don't know him. You don't know the women. You don't know any of these people, and you were never in those rooms. So you can't say for sure either way what happened, neither can I. And I'll tell you who else can't. Silhouetted actresses on Channel 4 reading a script.
Yeah.
They can't.
No, I know. And, I mean, I'm not a great fan of Russell Brand. I really don't like Russell Brand.
I don't like him at all.
I don't think this is any way to go about pursuing what could turn out to be a horrific case or cases.
Yeah.
But, this isn't the way to do it, and the media have overstepped their bounds again.
Well, the thing is,
and Andrew Neil is an old, out of context, he's just out the loop completely. The guy is a complete narcissistic idiot. I have no regard for the man whatsoever. He says, it's always the same whenever I meet someone. It's what we're going to do about Andrew Tate, what we're going to do about Joe Rogan. Whenever I meet a politician, their first question is, how are we going to stop Andrew Tate? How are we going to stop Joe Rogan? Right? And I just said to him, I just replied to him, I said, it must really make you sad that they don't think you're important enough to ask that question about you.
So, I also want to draw attention, okay? I want to draw attention to this because I think this is important on a couple of levels, and I'll explain what I mean as I go forward. One of the women that led the story for the Times, one of the journalists, her name is Charlotte Weiss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how this woman is employed by any media company anywhere, because I would like to draw your attention to a woman. Her name is Danielle Bennett, was former Danielle Hindley. And I'm going to reach out to her and see if she wants to have a chat with us about this, by the way. Charlotte Weiss, whilst working for, I believe, the Daily Mail, was doing a story about cowboy nail bars and things like that, beauty stuff.
Money laundering establishments.
It's essentially.
Right,
and
okay.
Danielle was doing some, because of restrictions and the like, she was doing some treatments from her home.
Yeah.
Charlotte Weiss
treatments
went to Danielle's house, gave a fake name, had treatments, and invented from scratch, a story that Danielle was one of these people. ruined her business, ruined her life, ruined her mental health, and then Charlotte Wace and the Mail got sued by Danielle Bennett for defamation, and Charlotte Wace lost and had to pay Danielle Bennett a life-changing sum of money.
Yeah.
This is one of the lead journalists on this Russell Brand story. Someone who, in a court of law, was found guilty of defamation, inventing stories, and having to pay life-changing sums of money. And now this woman is writing anonymous accounts about people who have allegedly been in relationships or had encounters with Russell Brand. How is this woman allowed? How is she allowed to be working for anything? How is her name even up there on this story? How?
Because it's a story. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. I mean, the whole thing, in my view, the whole thing's just, it's. Well, what's the reason for it, right? So let's break it down. Who stands to gain, right? Not Russell Brand. The paper, yes. Channel 4, yes or well, the paper and Channel 4, yes and no, depending on how much veracity there is on these claims, because the paper and Channel 4 could end up forking out large sums of money, because as you know, Russell Brand is no stranger to the courts, and he won the last time, didn't he?
Yes, so Russell Brand has already won.
Mm-hmm.
He's already won sexual assault damages or allegations of sexual assault damages in court before. He's done this before. This is not his first rodeo.
No, it's not.
Shall we say?
And the other thing that gets me is the people that keep comparing him to Hugh Edwards. Right?
I don't get this.
Right.
And also the Savile comparisons.
Yeah,
I don't get that either.
Right. First of all, Russell Brand, while he might be a complete and utter arsehole, he's always been pretty forthright when it comes to his promiscuousness. Yeah? I mean,
pretty forthright.
Yeah, he's always he's not really hidden anything.
He hasn't, no.
And to be fair, and what your whole moral standpoint on this is your moral standpoint, right? But society says if you're 16, you're old enough to make up your mind if you want to have sex with someone or not. You're no longer a child
country,
in the eyes of the law, right?
In the United Kingdom.
So if he had sex with a 16-year-old, regardless of what age he is, he hasn't broken the law, right?
No.
So the only question where he may have broken the law, and don't even mention grooming, because that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, what is grooming? What did we used to call courting? Is that not grooming by any other name?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, you tell me. I mean, what is it? Because that's it's kind of the same thing. But anyway, regardless of that, you may have an impressionable 16-year-old semi-famous person thinks, oh, he's lovely, I love me forever, and then, wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and she goes, oh, I don't want to do that.
Let me interrupt you a sec.
Well,
let me interrupt you a sec, because I would like to address the chat. Yeah, the 16 thing is a bit creepy. Nobody's saying that.
No.
Right? It is a bit creepy.
Yeah,
but it's definitely not illegal.
No, we're back to your moral standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your moral standpoint says you don't do a 16-year-old, that's fine. That's your moral standpoint. What I'm talking about is legally in this country, if someone of 16 decides to have sex with someone, regardless of what age they are, it's not against the law. That's the thing I'm talking about, right? So there's nothing...
creepy, but it's legal.
Yeah. There's nothing against the law there, right? I mean, and look at what's her name? Look at Cher. I mean, what age is Cher? 70?
She's in the freezer at the moment, so I'm not sure.
She's going out with she's going back out with that 37-year-old dude, right? Now, that's like a 40-year age difference.
Imagine dating like a big lump of plastic.
No. But anyway, right, apart from that, and actually I'll say a little bit about age after I've finished this, because what you've got is you've got one guy who's been accused of a crime, i.e. Russell Brand, and that crime is rape, right? You've got another guy who was accused of not committing a crime. He wasn't accused really of anything. He was just accused of being a bit creepy with someone who was considerably younger than him. Again,
but of legal age.
Of legal age. So there's the problem, right? So, but the guy who didn't commit the crime at all, Hugh Edwards, did nothing but lie to the public. And that's why he's been vilified, because he's lost the trust of the public. And that's why this isn't comparable at all, because Russell Brand, one, is being accused of an actual crime, and two, he's denying having committed that crime, and all previous evidence that he has ever led or ever shown us is that he is very forthright about his sexual shenanigans. So, there you go. Now, if it comes to age and you think 16's too young, that's fine, right? Because my question is, if 16's too young to decide to have a child, because that's effectively what you could be doing. So you could decide to have a child at 16 and you can get married in Scotland without parental consent, in England with, right, at 16. You can't buy alcohol until you're 18. Right?
Can't buy a butter knife until you're 18.
You can't buy cutlery, yeah.
And, no. Get married, can't buy cutlery.
And you don't give us cutlery for a wedding present. And you can't vote until you're 18, right? Unless you're in Scotland, because I think we could in the Scottish elections you can vote at 16 now, not the national ones, right? Yeah. So the question there is, if 16's too young to decide to have sex, then you need to bring it up and you need to level out. In fact, I think we need to level out. If you think you're capable of deciding to have a child at 16, but you're not capable of deciding how much you want to drink, maybe you got to start thinking, maybe the age should be 18 then across the board. If you're not capable of deciding who you're gonna vote for, but you're still capable of deciding to have a child, there's something wrong. Something wrong with the ages. I think they leveled up. I would level them up. I would say 18, but that's just me.
So what you're essentially saying is, let me simplify this. What you're essentially saying is there needs to be one age where we say you are an adult now.
I think it would make things a lot easier, wouldn't it?
Well,
the thing is, right? See this whole. Well, when do you decide the child's not a child? I mean, if you're in Japan, the age of consent's 13. 13 in Japan. Did you know that?
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, the age of consent varies all over the world, and we've actually been through this before, Ben. So every culture's different. I mean, just look at your pal Mohammed. His favourite wife was 9.
I'm saying nothing.
It's a fact. Well, it's a fact as written in the book. That's what they say.
Look, it wasn't my mate.
I'm using that term just as a.
I know.
But anyway, so there you go. So the question is, if you want to pick an age where people aren't children, and you don't want to treat them like children, you have to. I think you've got to allow them to do more or less everything at that age. Yeah.
I think we could have one age, like you say, one age where we say, right, you're an adult now.
Mm-hmm.
Have at it. Except for voting, which I still believe should be 25. I don't think anybody should be allowed to vote till they're 25.
Well, I don't think you should have to pick your A levels until you're 25 or 30. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the world is fucked up, and the thing is,
of course it is.
You're never gonna you're just never going to please everybody all the time. And it is quite concerning when you see that a number of people that you would think would know better want to do things like lower the age of consent, and I think that's probably going the wrong way, because people seem to be they don't get older very fast these days. It's like someone, I think it was Ed, posted a meme the other day, and it was a guy smoking, and it was Gen X, 30 at 8, still 30 at 50, you know. And that is what Gen Xers are like. Yeah. So you grew up quite fast in my day, you know, but I think today's kids are very naive. Very, very naive. And that's the Gen Xers' fault, because they're the people who brought them up. Sorry?
Johnny says, best not to try and please a 16-year-old is one of my mottos.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's...
The only thing that... you know what? I would invite 16-year-olds to watch this show, if only we can impart some wisdom on them on how to critically think.
Yeah, I know.
You know, because that is something that is completely missing right now from our education system.
Yeah, well, and that did you see the hunky head teacher, the guy
Mike Fairclough,
the guy that's given up because he's fed up being bullied, because he used to tell the kids how to shoot guns and all this and how to.
Should I tell you something? Do you want to know something?
Go on, tell me.
I went to that school.
Did you? And did you? Was he one of your teachers?
Not long after I left.
Oh, right, okay.
But that was my school when I was a kid. But I've spoken to him. I've spoken to him on the phone, actually, because when we went to view schools for Dexter, our son, we went there, and the infant school and the junior school that he runs were always at an impasse, because the infant school are fucking woke to shit. They had a safe space for the teachers to go to if the kids were getting too much. I walked out halfway through the tour calling them insane.
Yeah.
I shit you not, that's what I did. And then I ended up speaking to Mike on the phone. He actually called me. And he apologized to me, and he said they've been trying to get rid of him for years.
Yeah.
It looks like they finally got their way.
So, Vaughn, 16-year-olds can vote in Scotland?
In Scottish elections.
Yes.
Right,
I'm going to read that. I think it was Adam that sent me this, and thank you for that, Adam. I see you're in the chat now. So, the Wales, was it Adam, the sexual violence advisor, harassed at the Cardiff-Swansea football game?
What?
No? Right, okay. So, I'm going to read this out. It's on the BBC. Right?
On the BBC?
BBC. Wales National Advisor on Sexual Violence has described how she was sexually harassed by a man at a football match. Joanna Robinson said it happened at the Cardiff City-Swansea City Championship match on Saturday night. She said a man sitting behind her repeatedly grabbed her after she had told him to stop. Cardiff City director Steve Borley said the club will investigate the incident and include the police if appropriate. Well, that's not his decision to make. That's hers.
Yeah.
If she feels she's been assaulted, it's nothing to do with the club, whether they involve the police or not. It's up to her to go to the police. So people have a weird way of thinking, don't they? Right? So here we go. Ms. Robinson, who had previously been a season ticket holder at the club, said she was sitting alone at the match after giving her original ticket away. Almost as soon as I sat down, the man behind me started tapping me, presumably on the shoulder, right? Trying to talk in my ear and crouching over my shoulder. Well, he's leaned forward to talk to her, yeah? That's quite heinous, but, you know, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt at this point in time. Said Ms. Robinson, whose title is Wales National Advisor for Violence Against Women, Gender-Based Violence, Domestic Abuse and Sexual Violence, right? And then it just increased. The way he was touching me got stronger, so it felt more like he was grabbing my shoulders, my arms and my waist, she told BBC Wales. If she's sitting down in a seat, how's he grabbing her waist, right?
Maybe he's just because the way these seats are tiered usually, right?
Yeah, but
So maybe it's actually just his feet. Maybe it's just his feet kicking the back of her chair in excitement.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, he just kept doing it and doing it. It made me feel unsafe. He made me feel unsafe. Now, remember, I mean, how many people are there? Like, tens of thousands, I would imagine. Or as Wales. But even so, I still think they do go to the odd football game. He was in my physical space. Have you ever been to a football match, Ben?
Thankfully, no.
Or a hockey match or a rugby match or anything like that. You don't have any physical space. You are crammed in like sardines in a tin, right?
Yeah, of course.
Then she says he was touching me inappropriately. She doesn't expand on that, so I can't determine if he did or didn't. I didn't know if he was going to go further with the touching, but it didn't really matter. I just didn't like it. So I'm not quite sure where she's going there, right?
Right.
She then said she turned around and asked the man to stop touching her, to which he responded angrily and looked at her in disbelief. She said the touching...
Ladies and gentlemen.
What? Can I finish?
You can, yeah.
She then said the touching did stop until just before half-time, when he tried to persuade her to go and have a drink with him. So the guy's probably half-cut, and he thinks, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. Do you want to come and I'll buy you a drink? Then she's going, no. He then tapped me on the shoulder again and said to me very clearly he hadn't done anything, that he wasn't a monster man. He was really forceful about that. That was his way of excusing it and moving on, that I should go for a drink with him because he's not a monster man. It's just ridiculous. Right, so there's a lot to unpack in there, but a lot of it is we don't actually know what happened, right?
No, it sounds... I'm just going to say it sounds made up.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds like it sounds like it came from the big book of things that never happened.
That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But also,
she does sound psychotic, David. Yeah. Sorry.
I've been to in my youth, right?
Your youth.
I used to go to punk shows and metal shows often.
Yeah. Yeah, so here we go. Oh my God, this is number 2 of the narcissistic conversationalist. Sorry, you're getting it in there. He's going to tell us about how you get felt up at the punk show.
Actually, I wasn't going to generalize it about me at all. I was just going to generalize it.
Oh yeah, sure you were. Yeah, like I wasn't going to put that bear up when you come on the show.
I was about to say at these things, a lot of these front. What used to open up would be called a mosh pit. Have you ever heard of that, John?
Yes, I've heard.
In this day and age, if a mosh pit opened up, everybody would say they've been assaulted. Everybody would say they've been assaulted.
Yeah, I know.
But it wasn't assault. But this is where we are now. This is where we are now.
This leads back to, this is the thinking that we have today compared to the thinking we had 25 years ago. It's just completely different. You know, there was a lot of things you accepted then that people don't accept nowadays. And, you know, and the thing is, some people are naturally quite touchy. I think I'm one of them. Right? I am quite a touchy person. Sorry?
He's quite a touchy person, but he's shit at pool.
Oh, fuck off. And if we were playing on a level table, then it might have been better, right?
Oh, here we go.
No, you got to, I mean, even Vaughn has to admit the fucking table wasn't level. But anyway, I think I'm quite a touchy person, and it gets difficult when it's like, I don't know, it's just, it's very difficult if you're that kind of person. And, you know, people have different ideas of personal space, and if someone backs off or tells you to stop, then fair enough, you'll do it, you know. But I think a lot of what happened, I think the guy tried to talk to her, yeah. I'm pretty sure he did. She was sitting on her own. She's a woman at a football match. He probably tried to talk to her. He wasn't pulling, and she told him to stop, so he gave up. I would imagine that's what happened. But you know what?
So too.
You know what? I'm not as bad as Uncle Joe. I never
Apparently
kissed you on the
the sound
lips.
is breaking up, John.
Whose sound?
Well, all of the sound.
Is everybody's sound breaking up, or is it just Orwell?
Reset the road.
I don't know, hold on. You're not coming through the road.
Reset whatever I'm coming through. Oh, apparently it's fine now.
Hello.
Kids today, Julie, wouldn't have survived a lot of what even I was like or went through or went to in my youth. Kids today are...
This is you. It's you. This never happens. I did an hour and a half of just talking complete nonsense and my audio was 5x5 all the way. How is it now?
Well, I'm echoing, apparently.
Yeah, because I reset the road. Right. So what's it like now?
Should be fine. That was the... whilst I was echoing people, that was the authoritative voice of God.
But
That's what that was.
Andrew said that it glitched briefly, but then was fine just as I punched the button to reset the bloody thing.
Well, we got perfect now, so let's just crack on with the show before it goes to pot. And yes, Johnny, you've been very vocal in the chat today. I'd absolutely love to have you on the show at some point. By the way, just contact me on Twitter, Disabled Journo, if you're not following me already.
I think I've had a few run-ins with you today. Not run-ins, just I think I responded to a couple of your tweets. I am known as the collator.
Yes.
Where else are
David,
we? Right.
I always decide to talk in the back of a cave. Come on now. How long have you watched this show? You know that. I'll talk anywhere. Back of the cave.
Yeah, you notice how he's now come forward and he's quite close to his mic.
Hello.
Right,
Hello.
okay, let's crack on. So Sergey Brin has finalised his divorce to his wife. His now ex-wife, I guess, okay? After rumours of an affair with her and Elon Musk surfaced about 6 months or so ago. I don't remember those rumours, but they kept that one quiet, didn't they?
Look, and this is just an opinion, so please don't sue me, but Elon Musk will shag anything that moves.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk is the next target.
I mean, the dude has got so many kids to so many women. I don't even know how many kids he's got.
Yeah, I think
he's given up on. He's given up on bloody naming them.
I
His
know.
latest one's called X.
I know, he just gives some numbers.
the numbers or letters. X. Just what's the
X
next
will
one's
do.
on the way? Oh, you've got twins now. Yep, Y and Z. There we go.
So yeah. So yeah, they kept that quiet, didn't they? I never saw anything about it.
I mean, but Elon Musk does like to be a homewrecker by the sounds of things. And once again, it's just an opinion. But didn't Amber Heard cheat on old Johnny Depp with Elon Musk?
I tell you what though, it's got to be money, because he's not bra. He's not bra by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I mean, no.
I mean, even as a straight man, I can tell when a man's good looking and not. And Elon Musk is quite firmly in the I am not good looking category. Yeah, Bojo knocks him out because Bojo just he just overpowers him with sheer force of personality, I think. I think that's how Bojo does it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because nobody's going after Boris for his wonderfully devilishly handsome good looks, are they?
And let's be fair. Bojo's standards aren't maybe as high as Elon Musk's.
Johnny, I think me and John were basically in the same reasons as you are. He says, I found myself a wife, a woman who will laugh at my jokes. I found myself a wife who will put up with me.
My wife's absolutely gorgeous. She's a psycho, but she's gorgeous.
And she broken her arm. Tell me about that.
Yeah, she broke her arm. She broke her arm about 2 months ago when she put the floor down. and she's been still doing classes with it, and she eventually said, I'm going to go and get this X-ray because I think it's something wrong, because it's been bugging her for like 6 weeks, and yeah, she's got a hairline fracture in her ulna. Right, but it's lengthways, so every time she twists her arm, it opens up. So she's now in a splint.
Oh, that's
why it was sore. That's why it wouldn't heal, because she kept twisting her arm because she's doing classes.
So is that why she was a little bit salty when you came down here, because you weren't there to help?
She's always salty. No,
Yeah,
she wasn't salty. She was fine.
You know what? I've asked this question on the show. I've asked this question on the show before, but I'll ask it again. And this is to the women, because anytime I go away, anytime like I go on a little holiday, my wife gets really salty. And then anytime you go on a holiday, your wife gets really salty.
Not every time.
Is this all? I mean, she was really salty when we went to Alton Towers and the like, and now she was really salty when you came down the other week.
When was she salty when we went to Alton Towers? I don't remember that. Was she? I recall you going, oh yeah, the wife's not talking to me. Oh, I've probably done something stupid. It's always my fault, you know.
It's always our fault, you know. It is always our fault, even when it's not. Even when it's not, it's always our fault. You have to know.
So
I do not take other women to Disney, Adam.
Other women take
women take me to Disney.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, where are we?
Disclaimer: the other woman that takes me to Disney is 100% a lesbian.
Yeah, Adam, we don't talk about your wife in the chat, mate. Because you'll end up with something sticking out your back or something. You'll wake up dead.
Actually, my friend Lisa Andrew has been to go up at the dancing hookers at Moulin Rouge. She has. Yeah, she goes to the Moulin Rouge stage show in London as well quite often. She goes often.
Oh, okay, so, okay, right. So moving on. Somebody posted a lovely meme.
I love her dearly.
A lovely meme, if it was true, which is "Go Woke, Go Broke," and Stephen King's book sales are down by 90%. But I don't think is that true? Sorry, no, but is that true? Because his last book was #1 in the New York Times best-selling list.
Well, I don't know. First of all, I don't know if it's true. But second of all, if it is true, it's nothing to do with wokeness. It's to do with the fact that they might have finally worked out that he's actually quite a shit writer.
Yes, and he looks like Ned.
Doesn't know how to end a book.
No, he doesn't know how to write an ending, but he also should have stuck with the facial hair, because that guy has a philtrum that's like 3 times the length of anyone else's. It's just horrendous. He's like Ned Flanders. Ned Flanders looks like that without his moustache. I think Ned Flanders is what do you call it when you copy somebody?
Doppelganger?
No, Ned Flanders was the inspiration. I think Stephen King was the inspiration for Ned Flanders.
That could be. And Johnny's right. Look, the car was haunted. The cat was
haunted. Yeah. Salem's Law. Everybody's a vampire. Yeah. It's just he just doesn't write good endings at all.
It's only when people take his stories and adapt them to film, and then run a screenplay and change things here and there, that sometimes they can come off okay. Like Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption, which was a short story, a novella by Stephen King,
and
then
Green
it was
Mile.
Taken. Well, the rights were given for these short stories for $1 a pop. $1. And
he didn't make a lot out of them, then, did he?
Well.
Right. Adam sent me this ransomware in Vegas. So have you seen the state of Vegas?
Have you seen the state of MGM casinos?
Now this is bad actually, because I wonder when's it going there. So they better get this sorted, because Formula 1's going to Vegas, isn't it?
But the thing is, Formula One being in Vegas has nothing to do with this. To be honest, this is ransomware in NGM casinos.
No, but Formula One's going to pull in a shitload of people because they're going to be racing down the strip. So November the 18th, Formula One will be in Vegas.
I've seen some videos today. I've seen some videos from in some of these affected casinos, and people are still allowed to play, but transactions are being written down by hand.
Yeah. Hey. It's good practice. Machine. It's good practice for when Russia lets go of that EMP and knocks out all our tech.
I'm not going to lie. I'm quite disappointed that they didn't manage to ransomware the MSG Sphere, because that would have been. It
was already broken, was it not?
No, that wasn't broken.
Well, it was a glitch. It wasn't right.
It wasn't a glitch. It wasn't broken. It's the alignment. It's how they do their alignment. So. I've seen it on multiple occasions. It's a piece of, I guess, footage that they use.
Well, it looks like shit.
Their alignment.
Yeah,
it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go. You can't make this one up. Why does a pilot eject from a perfectly serviceable aircraft?
Where is that plane? God damn it!
But why does a pilot eject and the thing keeps flying in autopilot? What the I don't understand this one. And why can't America track it? Because, I mean, let's face it, unless it was on a secret mission, the transponder would have been running anyway. So there's no co-pilot, it's a single seater, right? He had no control. Well, well, what was the rush to jump out if he had no control? The thing's flying along straight and level, I guess. So, I mean, why would he rush to jump out? Why didn't he wait until... I mean, they found the pilot, but they haven't found the plane.
Yeah, where is this F-35? Where is it?
It's like... it wouldn't respond, so he ejected. But did he not fucking try turning it off and on again? He should have phoned up Lockheed. Oi, this jet's not responding. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Just like my road.
Just call up the OnStar assistant. Hello there, OnStar. The jet's not responding. Well, why don't you try troubleshooting with me now?
Yeah. Yeah, so
he says it killed 50%.
Yeah, probably. Somebody said an unmanned F-35 has landed in Havana.
Did you see the joke eBay listing for an F-35 as well?
Yeah, I know. I mean, fucking industrial military.
It's run out of fuel and crashed somewhere.
Yeah, they got to take some stick over this one. That's just ridiculousness. And the thing is,
you're not gonna.
Oh, yeah, I just can't. I can't get my head around it. I can't get my head around.
You're not gonna find one.
I can't get my head around why he ejected when he did, because obviously the plane was flying straight and level because it just kept flying, right? So why did he eject? Why didn't he call it in? And I mean, the whole thing just sounds weird. But anyway. So
Lomax says, call the help desk in India. Imagine that one. Hello there, Lockheed Martin tech support. How may I help you?
I can't understand you.
Okay, what I'm going to need you to do is take $35,000 in cash down to the UPS.
It's bad enough. It's bad enough for you guys, but can you imagine what it's like when I try and talk to a new call center?
They can't understand you. You can't understand them. It all goes wrong.
It all goes Pete Tong, mate. It all goes Pete Tong.
Going, excuse me, madam, we do not know what you're saying. And you're going, God, you fucking bastards, Butland.
That's what's wrong, Adam. He wasn't thinking in American. It was obviously a Russian spy trying to steal it, and he was thinking in Russian. He should have been thinking in American. Remember that Firefox? When, what's his name?
Deary,
God.
Deary.
Clint Eastwood stole the Russian foxbat or something. Anyway, we've only got a couple of things left. So, snoring causes strokes now. Did you know that? So you have to stop snoring.
Can you buy me some of those like snory strip things that you put on your nose then? Because I snore a lot.
I'm not buying you anything. I mean, it's just nonsense. Everything causes strokes. The whole thing's ridiculous. I snore as well. I've woke myself up snoring before.
So I'd like to give you a little bit of an update on the Russell Brand situation. So far, it seems he's lost his book deal, his agent, his tour has been cancelled, his Netflix shows have been pulled.
Yep.
Over allegations.
Yep. Well, that's exactly what happens. This is why I don't think these things should be done in the light of the public. They shouldn't. It's just wrong.
No, I agree. Because like we said earlier, there's none of us are in that room. We don't know what happened, and you shouldn't be rushing to condemn, convict, and punish somebody because somebody else said something from behind the curtain of anonymity, being disseminated by a journalist who has been done for defamation in court. Let me just. How you need to lay it out because that's what's happened here.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on. We're past this. Right, we're on the last item now of the show, and you brought the mood right down. We were getting right up there, and you brought it right back down.
Come on, bring it back up. Come on, you can do it. Let's do this.
Let's go to the far north. Let's go to Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska.
I'd like to go to Anchorage.
Military base. Getting a delivery.
Is it an F-35?
No. Military base getting a delivery from the Krispy Kreme van. Right? So, Krispy Kreme driver goes round, opens back door, takes out Krispy Kremes, takes him into the military base, comes back out and goes, whoa! You can't do that. 2 bales in his van eating the Krispy Kremes, right? A mother and her cub. They said they just wouldn't stop. They just kept eating. So they ate all his Krispy Kremes and then fucked off back into the woods. Probably for a shoot.
Sometimes you promise your kid, don't you? It's all right, son, I'm going to take you out for donuts. I'm going to take you out for Krispy Kreme. This mother delivered. She delivered.
Eat your fill, son. Knock your socks off. Just keep eating those Krispy Kremes. Then we'll go have a shit in the woods. Oh, and with that, I think we can top that one, mate. I'm going to hold off on my theory. I might do it tomorrow on a special then.
John likes a special. He does like a special.
I do like chatting to you on a one-to-one.
And if you're not subscribed to the other channel...
It means I don't get continually interrupted by the conversational narcissist.
Oh, I'm so sorry, John. I'm so sorry that you actually have someone to have a conversation with.
What do you mean when you're seeing Ed? You've already seen Ed.
Yeah.
You saw him in the last one.
Trying to grab a little link here.
Krispy Kremes. You want a Krispy Kreme, Johnny? You're gonna go out. You're gonna go out and look for Krispy Kremes.
You know what? I've never had a Krispy Kreme donut. Never.
I tell you what, Greg's donuts are better.
I've just posted a link in the chat there, people. That is to the other channel, the vlog channel, the go to hotels and theme parks and you know, real life stuff channel, because there's going to be some new stuff coming up on there. I might even do some live music shows just for you, Shalini, just for you. And you know what, Shalini, I want to commend you. You are still here and not asleep. Well done, first of all. And second of all, that'll do, I think, for tonight.
Yeah.
So if you have enjoyed it, then don't forget to please leave a like on the on the show. And if you're not already, please consider subscribing to the channel, because you need to subscribe for at least 20 minutes in order to chat anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you want to support us further, you can do so at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent, or right here on YouTube. You can click that join button and you do get extra stuff.
Extra stuff.
Including exclusive shows. I want to thank all of you in the chat tonight. And yeah, I'll pass you off to John now. And I'll recline.
Recline. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for attending this, our meagre show. From me, John, and from Ben. And you know what? It's been what? It's been great for you!
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet next to me. I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. I can't contain it, I'm coming out with a statement. You really changed, man, all your music and arrangement. You don't know shit, shut your mouth, you can save it. I'm the same dude that got his come up from the basement. 100 songs, 100 weeks, didn't change it. Experiments, development, intelligence, and patience. I'll do it all again, cause I never feel complacent. Let's keep the good vibes, positivity's contagious. I'm never looking back, cause I made a life that's passionate. A college graduate suppressing all his talents, yeah. He found a way to go and change, become an advocate. For taking control of your life, go out and battle. And you think you have a dream, then act on it. Get after it, get out your head and fucking capture it. You got one life to master it. Don't give up on your future, we all start losers. We're all late bloomers, gotta struggle through the sewer. What you say? Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want